So I just finished watching Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Literally, I just finished the credits. And that movie is amazing. It has this campy feeling throughout that makes me so happy.
Kiddo, let mom and dad talk for a minute, will ya?
Peter is a genuinely believable, awkward nerd. His interactions with MJ got me cringing, and that's because I can see myself in that position. From the beginning of the movie, Peter is beaten down by the people around him, and when he's given all the power in the world, he doesn't get revenge, even if it took him a little trial and error. Okay, maybe more than a little, but he does the most selfless thing and becomes Spider-Man, which cost him a true relationship with Harry, a romantic relationship with MJ, and almost loses him his last remaining family. And in the end, he keeps pushing, knowing that if he won't, no one else will. I haven't watched this movie in years, in fact, over a decade. My grandpa used to live across the street from my family, and he had the trilogy on DVD. So when we went over, me and my brother would watch those movies in a spare room my grandpa had for us kids. Now later in life, I'm a big comic fan. I don't have a ton physically, although I am trying to change that. I have read quite a bit digitally. My favorite hero fluctuates between Batman and Spider-Man. Both I really like, but it just depends on the day. Both have great rogues galleries. You see, this is the part of the video where I ramble on for 3 more minutes about stuff that has nothing to do with the topic of this video, so let's just cut to the chase. Our story starts in the early 1980s. Marvel had Roger Corman, the legendary director, take a crack at bringing Spider-Man to the big screen. It was said to be a horror movie set in the Cold War, featuring Doc Ock. Due to budgetary constraints, the rights were given to Cannon, who hired Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus to direct the film. They didn't really know what Spider-Man was, so they started making a horror film about Peter Parker, who would turn into a big tarantula werewolf style, and when Stan Lee saw what they were doing, they shut it down right there and then. They would then juggle the rights for another decade and a half, until they eventually sold the rights to Sony. James Cameron was the first to try and direct a Spider-Man movie under Sony. It would be much greater than any adaptation we know today. Peter Parker would be played by Leonardo DiCaprio. It would have Electro as a crazed businessman and Sandman as his bodyguard. But the company started fighting over some company politics, and James Cameron decided to peace out. After that, they started going through every big director in Hollywood to direct this thing, except Sam Raimi. He had to basically fight his way into the director's chair. Raimi had always been a big fan of Spider-Man, citing it as the biggest reason why he should be picked while pitching himself to Sony. But it all worked out as he got the role. Screenwriter David Cope used Cameron's original script as a guideline, but quickly they swapped out Electro and Sandman for the Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus. After that, they changed screenwriters from David Cope to Scott Rosenberg. Scott and Raimi decided that introducing 2 villains while also introducing Spider-Man was a little too much, so they cut out Doc Ock for now. Raimi wanted this cast to be bold. They wanted Peter Parker to be a short but fit and acrobatic person. Think of a young Heath Ledger, which they actually tried to get as Peter. Other candidates included a leftover from James Cameron, Leonardo DiCaprio, and also James Franco and Joe Manganiello, who would go on to play Harry Osborn and Flash Thompson respectively. But Raimi didn't want any of those, in my opinion. Pretty good picks. Raimi had recently watched a movie of the name The Cider House Rules, starring Tobey Maguire, and him being so impressed with the role, he showed Tobey to all the executives.
Who the f*** is this guy?
After one audition, they got why he wanted him so much, and he got the role. Oh my god, my voice is dying, bro. In his training regimen to get him from a scrawny little guy into an acrobat, he had to meet with a yoga trainer, a general physical trainer, a martial arts instructor, and a climbing expert for some reason. And his diet consisted of around 3,000 to 4,000 spiders a day to keep him fit. And onto our story's villain, believe it or not many were considered for the role of Norman Osborn before they found Willem Dafoe. Raimi had met with him while Dafoe was working on a movie in Spain, and Dafoe was instantly enthralled with the film. He insisted on wearing the complicated and heavy Green Goblin suit, which took 30 minutes to put on, because he thought it would just look the best. Elizabeth Banks originally auditioned for Mary Jane, but the producers thought she was too old, but she did end up getting the role of Betty Brant. And J.K. Simmons. I don't think I have to say why he got chosen. Although, Stan Lee himself was actually gunning for the role, but just like Betty Brant, he was too old. Toby went through quite a few different suits. A lot just seemed like variations of the classic suit, but one stands out as the most interesting. This suit created by Alex Ross. A Spider-Man suit, black from the stomach down. That blackness points up, almost surrounding the chest and really accentuates the spider logo. Also love the web wings and the bulky web shooters. The one thing that does put me off are the lenses. They look a bit too unfriendly and menacing. And going off script for a second, I did not notice that this suit was redesigned into the Superior Spider-Man suit, and I feel dumb for not realizing that. And fun fact, this suit was actually made. Here's it next to the Raimi suit. And speaking of the Raimi suit, I think it just looks nice. The raised webbing was a great choice, and the lenses just fit the style really well. On the other side of the coin, the Green Goblin. He had quite a few unused suits. You have ones that look very comic accurate, some look really similar to the one we actually got in the movie, including this medieval armor goblin, and some actually look a lot like what we got for the new goblin. A more comic accurate mask was actually prototyped, and it looks absolutely astonishing. It's so creepy, and I haven't even shown you an emotion. Oh my god! This was sadly scrapped because I thought it looked goofy. Fair. And the final suit, I'm a little iffy on. It's very nostalgic for me, but it's a big departure from anything I've seen in the comics. And also, the Goblin is naked. No Way Home helped a lot with this by giving him a purple hood. Giving the costume some more color, and also the straps and belts, helped make him look a lot less naked. You know that famous scene where Spider-Man and MJ kiss in the alleyway? Spider-Man upside down as they kissed in the pouring rain. Did you know during that entire section, Tobey Maguire was being waterboarded because of the constant rainfall and mask covering his nose? Now that's a fun fact. Another fun fact is that Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst were actually dating at the time. But James Franco also had an infatuation with Kirsten, creating tension among Tobey and Franco, and creating an almost reverse love triangle to what's shown in the movie. A lot of this movie was shot on sound stages. Like almost all of it. The only places that weren't sound stages were the university where Peter was bit, the inside of the Osborn mansion, and the Daily Bugle. And also some exteriors, but that's not as cool. During production, 4 Spider-Man suits were stolen from Sony. They put out a $25,000 bounty, and in the end, a security guard and 1 other was arrested. I love the balls on these guys. You must have some serious guts to not only steal 1 Spider-Man suit, let alone 4.
It's a little bit funky, but a little bit tacky. It's a little bit left because I'm now with trendy.
Crossblock. Crossblock. Crossblock.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man went on to get 2 sequels, a spin-off show that got cancelled in retcon, and whatever No Way Home is. I love it a lot. And I hope my passion for this movie shines through in this video. This movie made me branch out from gaming videos, and I just needed to talk about it. I wonder what this series has in store.